and Milford, Ohio native Will Hanna, they would have Capital in a good position heading into 2016. Shrek, he's only averaging 6.8 points per game, but he's shooting 42% from three-point range, a whopping 62% from the field. Hanna, meanwhile, he's averaging 8.5 points per game. He's shooting 43.2% from the field and a modest 35.4% from downtown. So surprises from the young guys, couple that with strong leadership, has got Capital going in the right direction. A tough start to the week for Capital. We'll get into that later on in the pregame show. For now, we must take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the OAC, how the conference standings are looking heading into the new year of 2016. This is the Rusty Bucket pregame show here on your home for Capital Men's Basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Brugger's Bagels has been bringing authentic New York-style bagels, breakfast foods, coffee, soups, and more to the world since 1983, and there is a location in Bexley ready to get your day started right. Located on 2510 East Main Street, Brugger's is open Monday through Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays from 6:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Brugger's also can cater your next event and can be reached by phone at 614-236-4000. Brugger's Bagels is proud to support Capital University Athletics.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center. Welcome back to the Rusty Bucket pregame show. I'm Charlie Danis. It's now time to take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference. So it is a brand new year, 2016. Here are what the standings look like in the OAC at the moment. Tied atop the conference with identical 5-0 marks is John Carroll and Mount Union. In third place would be Marietta. The Pioneers 4-1 in conference play thus far. Baldwin Wallace and Capital, two teams taking on one another here today at the Cap Center, come in with identical 3-2 records within conference play. Both Heidelberg and Ohio Northern are 2-3. Otterbein is 1-4, and Muskingum and Wilmington, both of those teams, are still waiting for their first win within conference play. They are both 0-5. Let's now check out the OAC Player of the Week, and it was a young man from John Carroll who took home this week's honor. That would be Simon Kucherowicz. Kucherowicz, a native of Brook Park, Ohio, averaged 16.5 points and 8.5 rebounds per game to lead the Blue Streaks to a pair of victories at the Land of Magic Classic in Daytona Beach, Florida. Kucherowicz scored 19 points in just 17 minutes and was 8 of 10 from the field as John Carroll defeated Brockport State 115-94. He also recorded a double-double with 14 points and 11 rebounds in an 89-68 win over Bridgewater State on the week. Kucherowicz also added 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. John Carroll, a team that Capital took on earlier this week. We'll get to that matchup in just a moment, but while we're taking a look around the OAC, let's get you caught up on who are the latest leaders in some statistical categories. As I mentioned, Mark Minch comes into this game third in the conference at 20.2 points per game. A man that he will be seeing a lot on the court here this afternoon will be Cam Kuhn, the sophomore guard for Baldwin Wallace. Kuhn, he leads the OAC in scoring with 24.4 points per game. The rest of the top five when it comes to scoring points per game in the OAC looks like this. In second place is a player from Otterbein. That would be Jake Phyllis. Phyllis comes into today's action averaging 21.8 points per game. Then it's J.J. Kakura. We got to see him earlier this season when Mount Union came in here to take on Capital. He is still scoring at a prolific rate. Comes into today's action with a 17.3 points per game clip. And finally, a young man from Marietta, rounds out the top 5 in the OAC in scoring. That would be A.J. Edwards, 15.5 points per game. We will see him next week when the Pioneers come here to Bexley to take on the Crusaders. Also, rebounds per game. Jake Featheroth, another guy that we're going to be seeing here this afternoon for Baldwin Wallace, comes in here averaging 10.8 rebounds per game. A.J. Edwards is also up there from Marietta with 8.6. Jake Ruffin from Mount Union, 8.3 rebounds per game. Field goal percentage, well, we just talked about this young man actually recently taking home OAC Player of the Week honors. Mr. Kucherich from John Carroll. Simon Kucherich, averaging 9.8 points per game, shooting 47.2% from the field. Jake Ruffin, 64.2%. Jake Featheroff shooting 60.2%. And then finally, the three-point shooters. At the very top of the OAC, well, that would happen to be Justin Page of Muskingum, or Jalen Page, excuse me. Page averaging 13.1 points per game, shooting a blistering 56.8% from three-point range. When we return, you'll hear my conversation with head coach Andy Winters as part of the Capital Coaches Corner, brought to you by the Rusty Bucket. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Rusty Bucket pregame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics. Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the pregame show. Today it is Capital taking on Baldwin Wallace. This presentation of men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. I'm Charlie Danielson. Joining me now, the head coach at the Capital men's basketball program, Andy Winters. Well, Coach, to this point, 7-5 overall in the season, 3-2 in OAC play. This despite the fact that you're an interim coach and you got 12 underclassmen on the roster. To this point, what has surprised you the most about this team?
I think the way the guys come back and compete after losses, coming 0 for 2 in our first two games back since the new year, I think we did a really good job of preparing for practice and figuring out what we needed to do to get better, and especially give credit to the seniors. They did a great job of picking us up and understanding that with young and new faces comes inconsistency. And just learning from our mistakes and moving on and for the next game.
You have played a couple games already this week. I want to go back to Monday. 75-74 loss to John Carroll. John Carroll had 21 points off of turnovers. What do you take away from a frustrating loss like that where you had a lead at halftime, but you just weren't able to get it done in the end?
Yeah, John Carroll's a great team. They're undefeated right now. So take away that we can. If we play well and we follow the game plan and do what we need to do, we can compete versus any team in our conference, and that's what we need to take away. But the next step to that is taking advantage of playing well and holding on to a lead and holding on for a victory.
You also had a game on Wednesday, 92-76 loss to Denison. David Muir had 38 points in that game for the Big Red. What was he doing so well on Wednesday night?
Denison runs a great motion. They had guys constantly moving, and a lot of our defense was out of position when Muir had the ball, so he took advantage of it, got some easy shots early, and then started shooting the three and getting to the free throw line. So just was in rhythm. He's a great player as it is, so trying to limit their rhythm once they make some easy ones is something we have to adjust to.
We're talking with head coach Andy Winters here on the Rusty Bucket pregame show. This Crusaders taking on the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace. Well, Coach, let's talk about B-Dub. 8-4 overall, 3-2 in OAC play. And all starts with their main man, Cameron Kuhn, 24.4 points per game. I think that's best in the OAC. What makes him one of the best players in the conference?
Cameron can score a bunch of different ways. He gets to the paint and he can finish over 6-7 guys. And again, he very, very, very good player that, once he gets it going, it's going to be hard to guard and you have to contain him. He can stretch you and hit the three. So, the biggest thing with him is limiting his rhythm and making every shot and catch tough for him, and kind of containing him and keeping him out of the paint early is what makes him such a special player. He can hurt you different ways.
Let's talk about the Yellow Jackets as a team. One of the better offensive squads in the OAC, 83.4 points per game. They shoot 40% from three. They shoot 46% from the field. How would you describe the Yellow Jackets offense?
They have, Kuhn is a very special player that scores a lot for him, but they have a couple other guys that, do things, whether it's assisting or knocking in open shots, that keeps you honest when guarding them. So, they do a really good job offensively of moving the ball, playing a lot of pick and roll, and trying to isolate certain mismatches, and they've done a great job so far.
We'll get you out with this, Coach. I referenced earlier that you're 3-2 in OAC play. You got a murderer's row of teams coming up within the conference, and you got a big game here today against Baldwin Wallace. From here on out, would you term every conference game as a must-win?
You know what? I think the biggest thing for us is getting better each game, and especially with the young group, you want to be peaking at the right time, and for us, the tournament is where we want to be playing our best basketball. So. I think understanding what we need to do to get to our best basketball, and learning from every moment, and hopefully going out and winning each conference game is always important. But taking what we learn from it and getting better every day.
Well, thanks, Coach, and good luck against Baldwin Wallace today.
Thanks.
I'm head coach Andy Winters. Join us here on the pregame show. We'll have much more coming up after these words.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket. OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Back here at the Capitol Center, back here with the Rusty Bucket pregame show. Hello again, everyone. I'm Charlie Danis. It's now time to set the table for Capital, brought to you by Pepsi. Live for now. Well, it hasn't exactly been a happy new year for Capital thus far. They have fallen in back-to-back games for only the second time this season. We first start with a game that took place on Monday night. That was a matchup for Capital at John Carroll. And in a lot of ways, it was a heartbreaker for Capital as they were taking on a John Carroll squad that hadn't lost a game this year. They had John Carroll on the ropes, led the Blue Streaks 49-42 at halftime. But John Carroll came storming right back. They outscored the Crusaders 33-25 to take the game by 1 point. For Capital, it was Mark Minch leading the way with 21 points to go along with 7 rebounds. The big contributor for John Carroll, meanwhile, in that game was David Linnane, who had 19 points to go along with an assist and 2 rebounds for that game. Capital shot 45% from the field. John Carroll shot 40% from the field, but the big reason why John Carroll was able to take care of business in that game was because they capitalized on Capital turnovers. The Crusaders turned the ball over 14 times. In turn, John Carroll was able to score 21 points off of those turnovers. Things did not get any better on Wednesday night. It was a trip up to Granville for Capital to take on the Big Red of Denison out of the North Coast Athletic Conference, and the Big Red won this game going away, defeating Capital 92-76. It was the David Muir show. Muir shot 15 of 17 from the field, 4 of 4 from beyond the arc. When you add up all those points, he ended up with 38 points on the evening to go along with 4 rebounds. Also helped that they had guys like Darius White and Jet Spielman score 18 and 16 points apiece. Again, Mark Minch was the leading scorer in that game for Capital. He had 25 points to go along with 11 rebounds, and quite frankly, it was just Denison doing a better job of shooting the ball. Capital shot 54% from the field, but Denison, they shot 58% from the field and also a good 40% from beyond the arc. So now Capital will have to try to regroup here at the Capital Center, but they have a really tough opponent this afternoon, taking on the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace. When we come back, we will preview those Yellow Jackets who have gotten off to an 8-4 overall start during the 2015-2016 season. This is the Rusty Bucket pregame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Back here at the Capital Center, let's now set the table for today's opponent for Capital, that being Baldwin Wallace. This is brought to you by Capital Dining Services. Well, Baldwin Wallace, they have a new head coach this year. That would be Tom Heil. He became the new basketball coach for the Yellow Jackets this year after spending 5 seasons under previous head coach Dwayne Sheldon. And it's been a good season for Baldwin Wallace thus far, 8-4 overall. Like Capital, they are 3-2 within OAC play. Baldwin Wallace was recently involved in the Defiance Purple and Gold tournament hosted by Defiance College, a place where Heil actually used to work. The Yellow Jackets were defeated by Defiance 67-57. In that game, they were leading 32-28 at the half. Baldwin Wallace opened the second half with a 9-2 run to distance itself from Defiance. Cam Coote scored a game-high 23 points, making 7 of 9 field goals and 6 of 9 free throw attempts. But in the end, it was Defiance who came away with a victory in that one. So the Yellow Jackets are still smarting from that loss. This is a very important game for both of these teams, tied for 5th in the conference. This is around the time where you start to see a little bit of separation. Doesn't matter what division it is, doesn't matter what the conference is. The good teams start to separate themselves from the not-so-good teams. Now, I referenced this earlier in the pregame show. This game will feature 2 of the top scorers in the OAC. I've already talked about Mark Minch ad nauseum to this point, so let's talk a little bit about Cam Coon. Cam Coon comes into this game averaging just over 24 points per game. That is best in the OAC. And quite frankly, this is a young man that can get it done from anywhere on the floor. He shoots 48.2% from the field. He shoots 45.1% from beyond three. And oh, by the way, he's a pretty doggone good free throw shooter. 86.5% from the cherry stripe. A do-it-all player, a player that will certainly be in the running for OAC Player of the Year. But he's not the only guy that you need to pay attention to, or that we should pay attention to, I should say, for Baldwin Wallace. Jake Featheroff has also had a fine season for B-Dub. 11.3 points per game. His 10.8 rebounds per game, best in the conference. So a double-double machine Featheroff has been for Baldwin Wallace, also shooting 60% from the field. Once he gets it down there on the low block, he is basically money for the Yellow Jackets. And every once in a while, Featheroff can shoot it from three. He only has 6 attempts from beyond the arc, but he's knocked down 3 of them. Good for 50% on the season. Both teams out on the court, getting warmed up. Scheduled for a 2 o'clock start here at the Cap Center. And by the way, I would be remiss if I forgot about this. Today, Capital will be celebrating one of its past NCAA Tournament teams. They are celebrating, in fact, the 20th anniversary of the 1995-96 men's basketball team. This was a team that was then under head coach Damon Goodwin. This was Coach Goodwin's second year at the helm as head coach of the Crusaders. Led a very young team with strong senior leadership to a 19-8 overall record and a nice 13-5 record in OAC play. Despite an early departure in the conference tournament, the Crusaders earned an at-large bid to the Big Dance that year. They defeated Ohio Northern 68-57 in the first round, before their run was cut short by Wittenberg in the second round. Senior and current Capital Hall of Famer Chad Kokinis led the Crusaders that year by scoring 17.5 points per game. Senior Ryan Stump nearly averaged a double-double per game, posting 10.6 points and 9.6 rebounds per game. He also led the team with 55 blocks. It was also the start of what would soon be a very good career for Tony Joseph. He put up 12 points per game, 40 assists on the year, 38 steals on the year, and hitting a team-best 52.2% of his shots. Members of that team, along with Coach Goodwin, who continues to recover nicely from a battle with hairy cell leukemia, they will all be honored here today at halftime of this game between the Yellow Jackets and the Crusaders. Great to see these guys come back to Bexley, and hopefully the crowd will give them a good hand as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the 1995-1996 men's basketball team here at Capital. Well, we're just a couple minutes away from tip-off here at the Cap Center. We will step aside once again. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and hopefully the opening tip-off here from the Cap Center. This has been the Rusty Bucket pregame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Hello, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. For 50 years, I've witnessed some of the greatest contests in college football. Young men in competition reaching for their potential at the highest level. But their courage is more than matched by another group of young men, the boys fighting Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It is the most prolific genetic killer diagnosed in childhood, and there is no cure. But college football coaches are doing something about it, and you can help. It's called Coach to Cure MD. Text the word CURE, C-U-R-E, to 90999 to donate $5 on your next mobile phone bill, or go online at coachtocuremd.org. Text the word CURE, C-U-R-E, to 90999 today, and help the college football coaches cure MD. You'll be proud you joined the team.
Brought to you by the American Football Coaches Association. Standard messaging rates apply.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials, what more reason do you need to visit Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Plank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Plank's is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center, everyone, as we get set for another presentation of men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. I'm Charlie Danis. Let's now go ahead and send it down to Neil Shapiro, the public address announcer here at the Capitol Center, as we get ready for the playing of our national anthem. We are just about set for basketball here at the Capitol Center. Let's now get you the starting lineups, brought to you by Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. First, for the visiting Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace. Here's what the starting lineup will look like for first-year head coach Tom Heil. Starting at guard will be the 6-foot freshman from Gahanna, Ohio, number 2, Jay Battle. Starting at forward will be the 6'5" sophomore from Medina, Ohio, number 14, Mike Kaminsky. At forward, the 6'3" junior from Akron, Ohio, number 23, Jalen Hollinger. Also at guard will be the 6'2" sophomore and the leading scorer of the OAC. He's a guard, and he comes from Vermilion, Ohio. The number on the back of his jersey is 30. His name is Cam Kuhn. And finally, the starting lineup for Baldwin Wallace is rounded out by the 6'7" sophomore from Norwalk, Ohio. That's number 33, Jake Featheroff. Meanwhile, for Capital, a little bit of a lineup change here today. Usually it is A.J. Dixon in the starting lineup for Capital, but in his place will be Kurt Geisey, the 5'10" junior from Delphus, Ohio, number 15. Also in the backcourt for Capital this afternoon will be the 6'3" freshman from Erlanger, Kentucky, number 3, Austin Schreck, and the 6'5" freshman from Milford, Ohio, number 5, Will Hanna. In the front court will be the 6'4" senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 24, Mark Mitch, and then rounding out the starting five for Capital will be the 6'6" senior from Dublin, Ohio. That would be number 32, Michael Green. The head coach of Capital, Andy Winters, first year as the head coach of the Crusaders. So both teams have now been introduced. Capital wearing their customary white uniforms with purple piping on the side. It's purple numbers and white letters on the front. Meanwhile, Baldwin Wallace comes out in mustard yellow uniforms, black piping on the side, the simple B-dub outlined in white on the front of the jersey. Numbers in white on the back and the front as well. And so now both teams out there on the court, which means that we are ready for today's opening tip. Brought to you by Zoe's Cafe. Battling for the tip will be Featheroff for Baldwin Wallace and Minch for Capital. Ball is up in the air. It's won by Minch, and we are underway here at the Capitol Center. Geisy running the point. Over to Minch on the right wing. Minch trying to decide where to go with the basketball. He'll dribble to his left before bouncing it over to Geisy. 15 on the shot clock. Minch on the left wing now, trying to decide to go inside the green. Instead, he will pull up for a jumper and nail it. Mark Minch gets Capital on the board, 2-0 early on here at the Cap Center. So now we get to see the Yellow Jackets with the ball for the first time. Running the point is Jay Battle. Battle trying to drive on in, but he is cut off. Now they'll swing it around the perimeter to Hollinger. Hollinger on the right wing. Goes inside to Kaminsky. Kaminsky back to Hollinger. Hollinger for three. That is no good. Capital doing a nice job of boxing out as Geisy races in there for the rebound. Now it's over to Green. Green on the left wing, trying to drive on down the lane. Tough shot, and not able to get that one to go as the rebound is taken by B-Dub's Hollinger. Cam Kuhn now on the left wing for the Yellow Jackets, who trail Capital 2-0 here early on. 18:50 remaining in the first half, to be more specific. Outside to Hollinger, once again for three. That is no good, but Hollinger is able to get his own rebound and bounce back out to the perimeter. Another three-pointer. This time it goes in for Jay Battle. So now Baldwin Wallace with a 3-2 lead. 18.5 to play here in the first half. Geisy bounces it over to Minch at the top of the arc. Now they go inside to Green on the left block. Green goes to work. Pump fake, up and in for Michael Green. As Capital retakes the lead 4-3 with 18:13 remaining in the first half. Hollinger, top of the arc, being guarded by Green. Now he swings it over to Battle. Battle dribbling to his right. Pick and roll action, and it did not work as the shot is missed by Kaminsky. It goes out of bounds. Unfortunately for Capital, it went off of a Crusader. I think it was Austin Schreck. And so now it will be Baldwin Wallace basketball, but unfortunately the ball has gotten wedged behind the bleachers. As the ball went out of bounds, it went behind the bleachers, and now we have a ball girl crawling back there to that corner, and somehow, some way, she was able to get the ball out of there. So good job by her, and play will now continue. Battle inbounds it from the baseline to Kuhn. Kuhn on the right wing. Now it's over to Hollinger. Now a three-pointer on the way for Battle, and for the second time today, Jay Battle knocks it down from downtown. It's now a 6-4 lead for Baldwin Wallace with 17:45 remaining in the first half. Geisy across half court to Green now on the right wing, inside to Minch. Minch trying to turn around jumper. A pass inside, but it goes off of the hands of Schreck. Kind of a tough pass there for Minch. And a turnover early on here for Capital, giving the ball back to Baldwin Wallace. If you're just joining us, the Yellow Jackets leading Capital 6-4. Under 17.5 to play here in the first half. Kuhn, top of the arc, being guarded by Geisy. Will let loose a jumper, but that is an air ball. It will go out of bounds, and back with the basketball will be Capital. So far in this game, Capital shooting 66% from the field, although they've only attempted 3 shots, making 2 of them. Meanwhile, Baldwin Wallace 2 of 5 from the field, good for 40%. Geisy bounces it over to Hanna. Hanna will now try to dribble in. A tough drive by Hanna off the glass, and it's no good as the rebound is taken by Featheroff, one of the best rebounders in the OAC. Kuhn will pull up for a jumper, and he'll nail it from 15 feet. Cameron Kuhn with his first 2 points of the game came in here averaging just under 24 points per game. Best in the OAC. It's now an 8-4 lead for Baldwin Wallace with 16:40 to play in the first half. Green with a far jumper. And Michael Green showing off some range as he's able to hit that from the left elbow. 8-6 lead for Baldwin Wallace. Now a whistle, and It's palming the ball. That is what is called against Baldwin Wallace, a turnover for the Yellow Jackets, as it was called against Jay Battle as he was attempting to drive the lane. So now the ball back in the hands of the Crusaders. So far, Capital sticking with their starting lineup. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, A.J. Dixon not in there. He will have to come off the bench today for the Crusaders. Green thought about a three. Now he'll drive on in, and a charge is going to be called against Green. Driving on in there was Green, but nice defense there by Jalen Hollinger as he's able to get the charge foul. Another turnover for Capital. Look from up here that Hollinger was able to keep his feet set. So a nice defensive play there for the 6'3" junior from Akron, Ohio. Former Archbishop Hoban product. Kuhn, meanwhile, trying to drive against Geisy, but Kurt doing a nice job of keeping him on the perimeter for right now. Kuhn now back outside to Battle. Battle being guarded by Schreck. 7 on the shot clock. Battle will let it loose from 3. No good. And the rebound is taken by Hanna. He was bumped by Kuhn. That will be the first foul on Kuhn, the first foul on Baldwin Wallace this afternoon. Capital already has one thanks to the charge called earlier against Michael Green. 8-6 lead for Baldwin Wallace. 15:46 to play here in the first half. Capital still looking for its first win of the year 2016. Come into this game with an overall record of 7-5, 3-2 with an OAC play. Nice dish that time from Hanna to Geisy on the inside. Kurt's able to tie it up for Capital at 8. 15:23 to play in the first half. Jackets back with the basketball. Battle near the left corner. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Battle now dribbling to his right. Gives it off to Kuhn. Kuhn will attempt to drive the lane. Kuhn not able to get the tough shot to go, and the rebound is taken by Schreck. Seems as though Geisy will continue to run the point for Capital as he brings it across half court. Now it's over to Minch on the left wing. To Schreck. Schreck, the Kentucky native. Dribbling around, now to his right. Passes it over to Geisy. Now to Hanna on the right wing. Hanna over to Green. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Green will let loose a 3 and swishes it through. Michael Green with a nice start here this afternoon for Capital. Capital back in front, 11-8. 14.5 to play in the first half. Battle. Dishes. Outside to Hollinger. Hollinger will now drive on in. And now a foul is going to be called on the inside against Capital. Looks like they're going to get Schreck on the call. That'll be the second team foul on Capital in this game. Meanwhile, a pair of substitutions as Tyrell Jackson comes into the ball game for the Crusaders. Also checking in, Caleb Cox, 6'7" freshman from the Queen City of Cincinnati. Baldwin Wallace also making a couple of substitutions. We'll get to those in just a moment. Kuhn, jumper, no good. Hanna with the rebound. Geisy with a brisk pace up court. Now over to the right wing. Kurt going over his options. Will bounce it on over to Minch. Minch near the foul line. Got hit. His jumper will not go, but Minch will go to the free throw line. Mark Minch, former Ohio Dominican Panther. He has been a godsend for this Capital squad from a scoring standpoint. 20.2 points per game. Although he hasn't been all that sharp from the free throw line. First toss is good. Came into this game shooting 62.3% from the charity stripe. Let's see if Mark can knock down his second free throw now. Minch bounces the ball a couple times. Second shot is good. A perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. It's now a 13-8 lead for Capital with 14:03 remaining in the first quarter. Or first half, I should say. Pass on over to Zach Warner, who recently checked in for Baldwin Wallace, 6'4" senior from Clyde, Ohio. Also into the game for Baldwin Wallace, Zach Brandy, the 6' junior from Hudson, Ohio. Kuhn, meanwhile, on the right wing. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Lets up a 3. No good, and the rebound is taken by Geisy. Kuhn off to a slow start offensively here for Baldwin Wallace. Jackson swings it over to Minch. Minch thought about a 3. Now he lets loose a 3. And now he nails it. Mark Minch showing off some range at the top of the arc. And now Tom Heil, the coach for Baldwin Wallace, will call a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. 13:27 remaining in the first half. Capital 16, Baldwin Wallace 8. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
Back here at the Capital Center, 13:27 to play in the first half. It is Capital off to a nice start against the Yellow Jackets, 16-8. Capital shooting 75% from the field, 6 of 8, if you're looking for more exact numbers. Meanwhile, Baldwin Wallace, a cold 3 of 11 from the field, 27.3%. Burr. Zach Brandy passing it off to Ryan Walsh, who was recently checked into the ball game for Baldwin Wallace. Brandy, spin move, now back outside. Three-pointer on the way. That's no good for Zach Warner, and the rebound is taken by Capital. Now it's Kirk Geisey. Across the bench, across half court, I should say. Now a foul is going to be called, a reach-in foul on Baldwin Wallace. Looks like the foul is going to be called on Michael Peters. Meanwhile, Capital with a couple substitutions. Joe Thomas and Will Hanna check in. Mark Minch will take a seat, as will Kirk Geisey. Still no A.J. Dixon in this game thus far. Hanna now over to Joey Whitegarner, actually, who is also checked into the ball game for Capital. Whitegarner, a 6'2" freshman from Centerville, Ohio. He'll pass off to Cox. Cox now over to Hanna on the right wing. 14 on the shot clock. Long pass over to Jackson on the left wing now. To Whitegarner, over to Hanna. Hanna inside to Cox. Cox trying to feed it into Thomas. Joe gets it somehow, puts up a shot, doesn't hit the rim, goes out of bounds, and it will be Baldwin Wallace ball. So the Yellow Jackets will get the ball back. 12:29 to play, in the first half. Capital with a 16-8 lead over Baldwin Wallace. Yellow Jackets in the half-court offense. Kuhn, who has gone off to a slow start offensively, spins in the lane, kicks it back out for three. That is no good, and Cox comes away with the rebound, but oh boy, I think they're going to get Capital with a foul here, as Whitegarner got a little bit too rough, boxing out Kuhn. And now both of our referees, or two of our referees, I should say, getting together, conferring about the upcoming call here. And it looks like an intentional foul is going to be called against Capital. The call is going to go against Joey Whitegarner. Call being made by Lawrence Walden, one of our officials today. The other officials, Tom Ripenhoff and Jason Katurba. And now our refereeing crew talking with Capital head coach Andy Winters. And now we'll see A.J. Dixon check into the ballgame for the first time here momentarily for Capital. Meantime, a couple of technical foul shots, if you will, for Cam Kuhn, and he rattles the first one home. Tough call to go against there for Capital. Whitegarner just getting a little bit too rough with Kuhn, and second free throw's good. So 2 free throws made for Baldwin Wallace. Kuhn will now check out of the ball game for Baldwin Wallace. The Yellow Jackets trailing Capital 16-10 with 12:11 to play in the first half. Brandy gets it in from the baseline to Nito. Now it's back to Brandy on the right wing. Brandy being guarded by Tyrell Jackson. Brandy still with the basketball. He's just dribbling around out there on the perimeter. Now it's over to Nito, and Nito is going to be called for an offensive foul as he bowled over Tyrell Jackson. Capital back with the basketball. Both teams with 3 fouls apiece. As now Dixon will run the point. Pretty soon Austin Schreck will be coming into the ball game for Capital, but he will have to wait for just a moment. Meanwhile, back on the court, Cox to Dixon, top of the arc. And now an offensive foul called against Capital. I think the foul went against Cox as he was called for a moving screen, and now Green will check back in. Cox will check back out. And Cox is going to take a seat right next to Capital assistant coach Anthony Golson. Getting some words of encouragement from Coach Golson. Meanwhile, Capital still with a 6-point lead over Baldwin Wallace. Just under 11 and a half to play here in the first half. They will go inside of the big boy Ryan Walsh. Walsh off the glass, no good. And Joe Thomas with a strong rebound for Capital. He'll feed it ahead to Dixon. Cross half court. Dixon to the right wing now. AJ dribbling to his left. Now to Thomas. Thomas to Jackson on the left wing. Now to Green with 15 on the shot clock. Green will pass it off to Schreck. Just came back in the ballgame for Capital. To Thomas. Now to Dixon on the left wing. Dixon. Spin move in the lane. He's stopped. Has to kill his dribble to Green. Green off the glass. It's no good. Tipped up in the air. Thomas with an offensive rebound. And Joe puts it back up and in. Nice play that time by the 6'4" freshman from Columbus, Joe Thomas, former Centennial product here in the Columbus area. Off the glass and in it will go for Baldwin Wallace. Shot made by Zach Brandy. 18-12 lead for Capital. 10.5 to play here in the first half. Dixon to Green. Green inside. Thomas, right block, up and in, and count the bucket with a foul. Thomas getting fouled on his way to the bucket, so he'll go to the free throw line to try to complete the three-point play. The 15th foul, by the way, on Baldwin Wallace, as the fouls all of a sudden are a certain amount for the Yellow Jackets. So Joe heads to the free throw line. Thomas on the season, 84.6% from the charity stripe, 11-13. Make it 11-14 as he misses the free throw. Still, it's a 20-12 lead for Capital. 10:18 to play in the first half. Zach Brandy passes it off to Michael Peters. Peters with a three-pointer. No good, and a rebound. No, a foul's going to be called against Schreck as he was reaching in there that time, battling for the ball with Dylan Nito, the 6'3" freshman from Brunswick, Ohio. That's the 15th foul on Capital. Both teams with 5 personal fouls. Brandy gets it in, and tough shot made by Ryan Walsh. 20-14 lead now for Capital after the made bucket by Walsh. Dixon across half court. Schreck handling the basketball near the right elbow. Now it's back out to Dixon, to Green. Green thought about a three, pulls back. Now spinning around to Jackson on the right wing. 11 on the shot clock. Jackson, touch pass inside. Dixon, off the glass and in for AJ. 22-14 lead for Capital. Coming up on 9.5 to play in the first half. Brandy passes it off to Warner. Now it's over to Nito. Nito drives in, back out to Brandy. Brandy thought about a three. Now he has his pocket picked by Schreck. Cross half court. Austin down the lane. Schreck got hacked on his way to the bucket. Missed the shot, but he will head to the free throw line as it's starting to get a tad bit chippy between both of these squads from the OAC. So now Schreck, 6'3" freshman from Erlanger, Kentucky, went to Dixie Heights High School down there in Kentucky. Although he considers himself more of a Cincinnati guy as he makes his first free throw attempt. Schreck, a 53.8% shooter from the foul line. Minch will check back in for Capital. Geisy also checking back in as well for Capital. Schreck, a big fan of the Cincinnati Bearcats, was a big Bob Huggins fan growing up when he was the head coach down there in Cincinnati. Huggins has since then moved on to places such as Kansas State and now recently West Virginia. Jay Battle almost stepped out there on the baseline. Three-pointer on the way, it's no good, and Minch comes away with the rebound after the missed shot by Peters. Minch dribbling on inside, outside the Dixon. He'll let loose from three, and AJ not able to knock it down as Featheroth gets the rebound. 10-point lead for Capital. Under 9 minutes to play in the first half. Jay Battle driving on in, loses the ball, but it will be Baldwin Wallace ball as it went off the hands of Schreck. So Battle will inbound it from the baseline. Battle is 6' freshman from Gahanna, Ohio. Went to Lincoln High School here in the Columbus area. And meanwhile, Cam Kuhn, leading scorer in the OAC comes back in. Kuhn only with 4 points in the game, shooting 1 of 5 from the field thus far. Battle trying to get it in, gets it into Kuhn, and it's nearly stolen away. Now he's being double-teamed. Kuhn has his pocket pick. Loose ball. Geisy dives for it, but Baldwin Wallace able to keep it alive. Peters recovers for the Yellow Jackets. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Peters will let loose a wide-open three. It's no good, and the rebound is taken by Schreck. Schreck now to Geisy. Kurt will simply slow things up as he crosses half court for the Crusaders. Now it's to Schreck on the right wing, the Kentucky native, trying to go over his options. Passes it off to A.J. Dixon. Now over to Geisy. Geisy from the left wing, down a lane, inside to Dixon. A.J. able to lay it up and in on the reverse layup. Nice play that time by the former Hilliard-Bradley product. One of the few seniors on this Capital squad. 26-14, Capital with a 12-point lead. Shot missed. Another shot missed by Peters, and Capital able to calm it down and eventually grab the rebound as, boy, Baldwin Wallace just continues to be cold from the field. 26.3% for the Yellow Jackets, 5 of 19 from the field. I'm sure that's not how head coach Tom Heil had drew it up before this game. Minch, meanwhile, back with the ball for Capital, trying to drive on in. He'll kick the Geisy in the corner for three. Kurt not able to knock it down. It's batted up in the air. Green going to the floor, but then Kuhn comes away with it. He's trying to run up the floor. Bounce pass inside to Featheroff, and Featheroff finishes at the other end of the floor. 26-16 lead. Capital with a 10-point lead. 7:09 to play in the first half. Capital shooting a sizzling 66.7% from the field, including 4 of 5 from the free throw line and 2 of 3 from three-point range. Shot off the glass and no good for Green as Kuhn comes away with a rebound for Baldwin Wallace. Kuhn across half court. Kuhn to the left wing. Kuhn deep three, and that is not even close. It got net, but it got the outside of the cylinder, unfortunately for Kuhn, and the ball will be heading back Capital's way. Joe Thomas coming back into the ball game for Capital. Meanwhile, for Baldwin Wallace, Hollinger, Jalen Hollinger coming back in for the Yellow Jackets. 6:47 to play in the first half. It is Capital with a 26-16 lead over Baldwin Wallace. Both teams come into this game with identical 3-2 marks within OAC play. One team will move up in the OAC standings. The other will drop. Minch with a big bounce step. Jumper, no good for Mark, and the rebound is taken by Featheroff. Almost stolen away by Minch, but it's tipped up in the air, and Hollinger eventually comes away with it for Baldwin Wallace. A very close steal that time for Minch as Capital continues to display really quick hands, particularly on defense. Battle, meanwhile, on the left wing, being guarded by Hanna. Back out to Kuhn. 9 seconds on the shot clock. And now Geisy will be called for a reach-in foul, trying to guard the pesky Kuhn. Cameron Kuhn, by the way, only 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 2 from three-point range. Still stuck with 4 points. Tyrell Jackson will come back into the ballgame. Kurt Geisy, meanwhile, will take a seat. Both teams with 16 fouls here in the first half. So Geisy will get a rest. Meanwhile, Kuhn to Battle on the right wing. Battle now over to the left. Three-pointer on the way for Battle. That's no good, and Dixon gets the rebound. Capital's been doing a nice job of controlling the pace of this game as Dixon calmly walks it up the floor, past half court. Just to Dixon. Now it's over to Jackson inside. Minch didn't make the layup, but he was fouled on the play, so now he'll go to the free throw line. Mark Minch, only a senior for this Capital squad, so he only gets to play one season of basketball here at Cap, and I'm sure if you talk to any of his teammates, any of the coaching staff, he would love to have this guy at least for another year, but that's just not going to be the case with Minch as he misses his first free throw attempt. Coming back into the game for Baldwin Wallace is Zach Brandy, the 6-foot junior from Hudson, Ohio. Meanwhile, Minch back at the foul line. He'll attempt his second free throw on the afternoon, and he will make it. 27-16 lead for Capital. 5:38 to play in the first half. Zach Brandy over to Kaminsky. Kaminsky to Featheroff. Featheroff looking for a lane, but instead passes off to Brandy. Now it's over to Battle. Battle back outside to Brandy for 3, and Brandy knocks it down from the right corner. 27-19 in favor of Capital. 5:17 to play in the first half. Dixon across half court, being guarded by Brandy. Now he'll bounce it over to Joe. Thomas to Dixon. Now it's back outside to Jackson. Over to Hannah. Hannah back to Dixon. Inside. Dixon, turnaround jumper is good for A.J. Dixon. And now a timeout is going to be taken by Capital. We'll take a timeout along with them. 4:56 remain in the first half. Capital 29, Baldwin Wallace 19. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
Welcome back to the Capital Center, everyone. I'm Charlie Danis. 4:55 remaining in the first half. It is the Crusaders leading the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace 29-19. Three-pointer on the way, and that is no good for Kaminsky. Rebound by Battle, blocked by Joe Thomas. But Baldwin Wallace gets the ball back, but an errant pass is picked off by A.J. Dixon. Dixon on the inside. Thomas not able to get the first one to go. Back up for Thomas, and he's fouled on the play, so now Joe will head to the free throw line. Boy, Baldwin Wallace just continues to be ice cold from the field, 26.9% after that last missed shot. Thomas at the free throw line. First one is good. Capital, meanwhile, staying steady offensively, 55% from the field, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. Thomas, second free throw is good. Capital 31, Baldwin Wallace 19. 4:21 remaining in the first half. Kuhn trying to get going here for Baldwin Wallace. He's on the right wing. Now it's over to Brandy. Brandy to Battle. Three-pointer on the way. It swishes through for Michael Peters. Actually, Mike Kaminsky, excuse me. 31-22. Capital with a 9-point lead under 4 minutes to play. Looking to close this first half out on a high note. Dixon to Minch. Minch, top of the arc, and now a foul is going to be called against Baldwin Wallace against Jay Battle. So that'll be the 18th foul on Baldwin Wallace, and Capital will now be shooting in the 1-and-1 here. So Minch will head to the free throw line. Jackson and Thomas, meanwhile, will head to the bench for Capital. Michael Green back into the ball game. Austin Schreck out there as well. So now Minch to the free throw line once again. And the first one, no good, tipped up in the air, and Battle comes away with it. So one and done for Minch at the foul line. 31-22. Capital with a lead over Baldwin Wallace. Brandy to Battle. Battle will let loose a three. That is no good, and the foul is going to be called against Kaminsky. The call will be over the back. Another foul against Baldwin Wallace, their 9th. Actually, team's 10th, excuse me. So now double bonus time for Capital the rest of the way here, and we still got 3.5 to play in the first half. So Will Hanna will head to the foul line. Hanna, native of Milford, Ohio, a freshman for this Capital squad, and his first free throw is no good. Hanna now 15 of 18 from the foul line this season. Second free throw, upcoming from Hanna. It's up and it's good. Back up to a 10-point lead for Capital. 3:28 to play in the first half. Battle on the left wing. Passes it off to Kuhn at the top of the arc. Kuhn, three-pointer. No good. Rattles in and out. It's just been that type of day for Kuhn so far. 1 of 7 from the field now. Kuhn still stuck on 4 points. Minch on the right wing. Spins in the lane, off the glass and in. Mark Minch able to get it to go with the left hand. What a move by Mark Minch. Capital 34. Baldwin Wallace 22. 2:48 to play in the first half. Drive down the lane, and it's good for Zach Brandy. Able to convert it with the left hand. Back down to a 10-point lead for Capital as we almost come upon 2.5 to play in the first half. Dixon, cross half court. Now it's over to Minch. Minch will hand off to Dixon. Dixon on the right wing with 13 on the shot clock. Inside the Green. Green on the right block. Trying to turn around, trying to spin around. Back out to Schreck. Schreck will drive in. Not able to get that bucket to go, but Minch, offensive rebound off the glass and in. Nice job by Mark Minch. First getting the offensive rebound and then getting the putback to go. 36-24. 2:05 remaining in the first half. Three-pointer, no. Zach Warner thought about it. Now the pocket is picked by Capital. Jay Battle turned it over. Quick hands that time by Austin Schreck. And now Capital just trying to run a little bit of clock here as they go into their half-court set. They have controlled the tempo of this game. Baldwin Wallace, one of those teams that likes to get out and run, but they haven't been able to do much of that this afternoon. Hanna on the right wing, but looks like Minch is going to be called for a foul that time as he was trying to drive against an opponent, trying to get the pass off to Hanna. So now that'll be the 7th team foul on Capital. Baldwin Wallace not yet in the 1-and-1. So now Jake Featheroff will come back into the game. They will inbound it to Zach Brandy. 1.5 to play here in the first half. Capital with a 12-point lead, 36-24 in favor of the Crusaders. Peters to Kuhn. Kuhn on the right wing, being guarded by Geisy. Back to Peters. Peters will put it up and in. Tough shot that time by Peters from 5 feet out. 36-26. Capital with a 10-point lead. 1:05 to play in the first half. Schreck on the right wing. He'll try to drive inside. And, a miscommunication right there as he was trying to get it back out to Minch. Minch zigged one way, and the ball zagged another. So Baldwin Wallace will now get the ball back with 57.5 seconds to play in the first half. Capital still with a 10-point lead. Minch guarding Brandy, hounding him defensively. Brandy able to get the ball off to Warner. Warner now over to Peters on the right wing. Warner will go inside to Featheroff on the right block, and Featheroff will make quick work of Minch that time as he'll go inside and cut this lead to 8. 33 seconds remaining. About a 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. So Geisy will just try to run off as much time as possible here as Capital will look to end this first half on a high note. Geisy still off towards half court. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Dixon now with the ball. To Schreck on the left wing. Dixon inside. Minch off the glass and in. Back up to 10. 6 seconds to go. Baldwin Wallace trying to get up the floor. Brandy to the top of the arc. Three-pointer on the way. That is no good. Schreck pulls down the rebound for Capital, and that is how the first half will end. At the end of the first half, Capital 38, Baldwin Wallace 28. Coming up, we'll have the Anthony's Pizzeria halftime show. We'll take a look at the stats. Also get you caught up with all the action around the Ohio Athletic Conference this afternoon. Again, Capital leading Baldwin Wallace 38-28 at the half. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Anthony's Pizzeria halftime show. I'm Charlie Danis. At the half, it is Capital leading Baldwin Wallace 38-28. Boy, what a first half it was for Capital, by the way. Let's now take this opportunity to take a look at the stats here of this game from the first half. Capital shot 58.3% from the field, a solid 50% from three-point range. They only attempted 4 shots from downtown, hitting 2 of them. And they are 8 of 12 from the free throw line, good for 66.7%. Leading scorer for Capital in that first half, well, who else? Mark Minch. Minch, 5 of 6 from the field, 1 of 1 from three-point range, 3 of 5 from the foul line, good for 14 points and 4 rebounds as well. Michael Green also with a nice game, 3 of 6 from the field, good for with 7 points and also 1 made three-pointer on the day. 2 points each for Austin Schreck and Kirk Geisey, 1 point for Will Hanna, and 6 points each for Joe Thomas and A.J. Dixon, both of those players coming off of the bench. Well, it was a good first half offensively for Capital. Meanwhile, for Baldwin Wallace, well, the Yellow Jackets were ice cold from the field, 33.3% from the field, 11 of 33 from the floor, 4 of 18 from three-point range. Only 22.2% from beyond the arc, and they've only gotten to the free throw line 2 times, making both of those attempts. Leading scorer in that first half for Baldwin Wallace was not Cameron Kuhn. We'll talk about his situation in just a moment. Turned out that was Zach Brandy. Brandy 3 of 3 from the field with 7 points in that first half. 6 points for Jay Battle, 3 points for Mike Kaminsky, 4 points to go along with 4 rebounds for Jake Featheroff, 2 points for Michael Peters, and 2 points for Ryan Walsh. Now, I referenced Cameron Kuhn earlier. This was a young man that was leading the OAC in scoring, just over 24 points per game. Kuhn in that first half, 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 from three-point range. If you take out his 2 points that he accumulated at the foul line, perfect 2 of 2 from the cherry stripe, by the way, the guy only has 2 points from that first half. As it stands, he only has 4 points. I'm sure the Yellow Jackets are looking for that young man to get going in the second half. A nice ceremony at half court, by the way, during halftime. They were honoring the 95-96 men's basketball team here at Capital. It was a squad that, well, in a lot of ways was a lot like this year's squad, in that it was a very young team, a lot of underclassmen, but had some strong senior leadership. That was a team that ended up going 19-8 overall, 13-5 in OAC play. They got knocked out of the OAC tournament early, but the Crusaders were able to earn an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. They took down Ohio Northern 68-57 in the first round before succumbing to Wittenberg in the second round. It was great to see members of the 95-96 men's basketball team out there, but it was also great to see head coach Damon Goodwin. In case those of you are not familiar with the story, Coach Goodwin had to step aside this season to battle a rare form of cancer, hairy cell leukemia to be more specific, and from what I have been told, he has been doing great in terms of doing everything that he's been asked to do with his treatment. So far, the treatment has been taking great effect, and he looked great out there standing at half court with his former players from that 95-96 team. Godspeed, Coach. We hope to see you back sometime on the Capital sideline. We will step aside for a moment. When we come back, we'll get you updated with scores around the OAC. Only one game in action at the moment, with a whole bunch of games scheduled for a 3 p.m. tip-off. That is on the way here on the Anthony's Pizzeria halftime show.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Jimmy John's, world's greatest gourmet sandwiches. Ed speaking.
Yes, I need a sandwich delivery right away.
What kind of sandwich?
I don't care. Just get it to 215 Elm Street right now.
I'm on my way.
Jimmy John's.
Thanks for getting here so fast. You're welcome, sir. Here's your sandwich. By the way, did you know your house is on fire?
That's why I called Jimmy John's.
Fire makes you hungry?
No, I knew you'd get here fast. Grab a bucket.
We're going to need more than 2 guys, sir.
You're right. What'll we do?
Leave it to me, sir. Hello, boss. Send everyone you got to 215 Elm. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's. Come in. Sir, did you know your house is on fire? Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your house is on fire?
Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket. Fire department. Come in. Sir, did you know you... It's okay, Captain. We got it handled. Care for a sandwich? Thanks, but tell me something. Shoot. Why didn't you call the fire department first? I did.
Don't settle for a tasteless pizza after the game when Anthony's Pizzeria is right in your neighborhood, serving up the best East Coast-style pie with their own fresh dough made daily. Family-owned and Bexley proud, Anthony's offers the best subs on the block, as well as fresh calzones and stromboli, and Anthony's Pizza has been voted #1 on Pleasant Ridge. Dine in or carry out, Anthony's is easy to find at 602 Pleasant Ridge, adjacent to the Capital University Athletic Complex, and as easy as dialing 231-6628 to order the best. 231-6628, Anthony's Pizzeria.
Welcome back to the Anthony's Pizzeria halftime show. At the half, it is Capital leading Baldwin Wallace 38-28. That's the men's basketball side. As for the women's teams, well, both of those squads will be hooking up at Baldwin Wallace in just under 15 minutes or so. Capital heading into the new year 10-2 overall, 3-2 with an OAC play. They'll be taking on a Yellow Jacket squad who's 8-4 overall and 4-1 within OAC play. So Capital with an opportunity here to get a big road win and to move up the OAC standings. That game, again, will tip off at 3 o'clock. As for other men's basketball games around the OAC, well, here's what it looks like. There's only one game in action at the moment. With 3:01 to play in the first half, it is Heidelberg leading Otterbein 39-30. The rest of the OAC slate will begin at 3 o'clock. Wilmington hosting Mount Union. John Carroll going to Muskingum. And Marietta playing host to Ohio Northern. Both teams back out onto the court, getting warmed up for the second half. Capital looking to move up in the OAC standings. Came into this game with a 3-2 overall, with a 3-2 record within OAC play, and right now they're shooting pretty good. Coming out of the locker room, they were shooting 58.3% from the field, and they did a nice job defensively on Baldwin Wallace. The Yellow Jackets shooting only 33.3% from the field. We'll take another quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have second half action here from the Capital Center. Again, it is Capital leading Baldwin Wallace 38-28 coming out of halftime. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Hello, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. For 50 years, I've witnessed some of the greatest contests in college football. Young men in competition reaching for their potential at the highest level. But their courage is more than matched by another group of young men, the boys fighting Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It is the most prolific genetic killer diagnosed in childhood, and there is no cure. But college football coaches are doing something about it, and you can help. It's called Coach to Cure MD. Text the word CURE, C-U-R-E, to 90999 to donate $5 on your next mobile phone bill, or go online at coachtocuremd.org. Text the word CURE, C-U-R-E, to 90999 today, and help the college football coaches cure MD. You'll be proud you joined the team.
Brought to you by the American Football Coaches Association. Standard messaging rates apply.
Welcome back to the Capital Center. In mere moments, we will start second half action. Coming out of halftime, it is Capital leading Baldwin Wallace 38-28. It was a frustrating start for Capital this week. On Monday night, they lost to John Carroll 75-74. The game in which they led at halftime. They followed that up with a 92-76 loss at Denison on Wednesday. So right now they're just trying to get that bad taste out of their mouth. They're one half away from doing it while also moving up in the OAC rankings. Second half underway. Yellow Jackets with the ball first as they will get it into Jay Battle. Battle to Kuhn on the right wing. Cameron Kuhn with only 4 points in that first half. Battle now trying to drive. Cut off by Minch. They'll go inside to Featheroff. Featheroff trying to bend, spin around. 5 seconds on the shot clock. It will go out of bounds, and it will be Capital basketball. Featheroff threw it to no one in particular that time as he was trying to gain position on the right block. And as a result, Capital able to force the early turnover, and now they get the ball on offense for the first time in the second half. Schreck, top of the arc, sizing up the defense, trying to decide on if he wants to go inside to Minch or not. He'll keep it on the perimeter with Geisy on the right wing. Now it's swung all the way around to Green. Green trying to dribble on in. Green with some twisting, turning, gets inside the Schreck who had the shot block, gets it back, and now he is fouled. He'll head to the free throw line. Nice job by Austin Schreck. He got rejected at first by Featheroff, got the ball back, able to fight up and get a foul. The foul is going to be called on Featheroff. First foul of the second half for either team. First foul on Baldwin Wallace, obviously. And now Schreck misses his first free throw attempt. Schreck has struggled from the foul line, 53.8% from the charity stripe this season. Second shot on the way is good. Able to split the pair at the foul line, Austin Schreck is. 39-28. Capital with an 11-point lead over Baldwin Wallace, just underway here in the second half. And Schreck trying to go for the block that time, but instead he will be called for the foul. So now Jay Battle, a little bit of a local boy, went to Lincoln High School in the Gahanna area, suburb of Columbus. He will head to the free throw line. On the season, Battle is a 61.3% free throw shooter. First shot is good. Battle had 6 points in the first half, now make it 7. Second free throw from Battle on the way. That one is good as well. 8 points on the day for Jay Battle. Lead is cut to 9, 39-30 in favor of Capital. 18:50 to play in the second half. Geisy on the left wing. Cut off on the perimeter, so now we'll bounce on over to Minch out towards half court. 13 on the shot clock. Minch trying to create. Step back three, no good for Mark. And Battle gets the rebound for B-Dub. Minch on the right wing. Now it's over to Featheroff. Featheroff trying to back Green down. Now he loses the ball, but it goes back out to Hollinger. Hollinger will get it back to Battle. 13 on the shot clock. Battle pointing for someone to go to his left, but not really able to get a screen right there. Battle will dribble to his right instead. Now Minch steals the ball away. Mark will lay it up and in at the other end. Nice defense by Mark Minch. He's now got 16 points in this game. 41-30. Capital with an 11-point lead. Three-pointer on the way. That one will swish through for Mike Kaminsky, 6'5" sophomore from Medina, Ohio. So now it's a 41-33 lead for Capital. 17:42 remaining in the second half. Green to Geisy. Geisy on the right wing trying to drive. And a foul's going to be called on Featheroff. A little bit of a flop job by Jay Battle as he was trying to get a charge. No whistle for his cause. So now Kurt Geisy will head to the free throw line. Geisy, one of the best free throw shooters, not only on this Capital squad, but in the entire OAC. Shooting at an 85.6% clip. First free throw is good. Capital 42, Baldwin Wallace 33. Another shot on the way for Kurt Geisey. 5'10" junior from Delphus, Ohio, and the second free throw is good for Kurt. It's back up to a 10-point lead for Capital. 17.5 to play. Jay Battle, cross half court, has the ball knocked away, and Schreck comes away with a steal for Capital. Schreck behind the back, and the shot won't count. Foul is on the floor. I think they're going to get Kuhn for this one. This will be the third team foul on Baldwin Wallace here in the second half. Capital only with one. Boy, the defense has certainly been ramped up here for Capital. Get it inside. Hannah's able to convert it with the left hand. Might have been some contact down there, but Will was able to get it to go. 12-point lead for Capital. Featheroff with a long jumper. That's an air ball, and Minch grabs the rebound. Minch now over to Schreck, and now Schreck will just slow things down. Again, the pace has been controlled by Capital seemingly all afternoon. Not a lot of run-out opportunities for Baldwin Wallace. 45-33, Capital with the lead. 16:45 to play in the second half. Schreck trying to go baseline, back out to Hannah. Hannah, pump fake, now a three-pointer on the way, but Will's not able to get it to go. Offensive rebound for Minch. Minch on the inside, not able to get that one to go either. And Featheroff is able to finally pull down the rebound for Baldwin Wallace. Kuhn ahead. Three-pointer on the way for Kaminsky. Kaminsky, no good, and Hannah comes away with it. Quickly over to Geisey. Kurt will now wait for the rest of his teammates to get across half court. 45-33 lead for Capital. 16-13 to play in the second half. Geisey to Minch. Minch nearly loses it, and the ball went out of bounds, and it will stay with Capital. Two substitutions now. Green and Schreck will check out for Capital. In steps Thomas and Dixon. So the strategy today has been to use A.J. Dixon as a six-man. I talked with Coach Andy Winters earlier today as Geisey streaks on in, and a foul on the floor once again is going to be called against Baldwin Wallace. Battle with the reach-in. That'll be the 14th foul. Talked with Coach Winters earlier today, and he said that of all the guys on his team that need to get going in this game, that needs to have a big game, that would be A.J. Dixon. Dixon so far with 6 points on the day, 3 of 4 from the field. They get it into Minch. Minch, jumper in the lane is good for Mark Minch. 18 points for M squared. Battle across half court now. Kuhn to the left wing. Kuhn will now try to dribble on in. Jumper no good, and the rebound is taken by Will Hannah. Capital's been doing a nice job on the boards. 24-16 in favor of Capital. Long three-pointer on the way for Minch. Didn't make the shot, but he was fouled on the play by Zach Warner. So now Minch will head to the free throw line for a trifecta of shots, if you will. Geisey will check out. Meanwhile, actually, no, he's just talking strategy with Coach Winters along with Will Hannah. Meanwhile, Minch at the free throw line. First free throw, no good for Minch as that just slipped off the front lip of the basket. Second free throw on the way. That is good for Minch. This time nothing but net. Zach Brandy, who was the leading scorer at the half for Baldwin Wallace with 7 points, checks back into the ball game for the Yellow Jackets. Third free throw now on the way. Minch knocks it down. Capital 49. Baldwin Wallace 33. Under 15.5 to play in the second half. Minch heading to the bench now. Gets a good hand for the crowd here at the Capitol Center. 20 points actually for Mark Minch. Go along with 6 rebounds. Mercy. He just continues to be a big-time player for the Crusaders. 49-33 lead for Capital. Meanwhile, 15:21 to play in the second half. Kuhn swings it over to Kaminsky. Kaminsky now over to Warner for 3, and it's knocked down from the left wing. Capital 49, Baldwin Wallace 36. Geisey, top of the arc. Now over to the right wing. He'll swing it over to A.J. A.J. to the left wing now. He'll get it inside to Green. Michael being guarded by a couple teams. Nice pass to Will Hanna. Green behind the back. He was able to find Joe Thomas on the right block, and Joe took care of the rest. Nice job by Green. Now they'll go inside to Kuhn. Kuhn trying to back his man down, and he was fouled on the play by Dixon. So now Cam Kuhn will head to the free throw line. Kuhn only with 4 points in this game. I can't stress it enough. Kuhn has had a very, very quiet day here. So Kuhn will now head to the free throw line. First toss is good, and that should be no surprise to anybody. Cam Kuhn, 86.5% free throw shooter. Ryan Walsh, meanwhile, checks into the ballgame for B-Dub. Second free throw on the way for Kuhn. After bouncing the ball a couple times, he lets it go, and he makes it. Capital 51, Baldwin Wallace 38. 14.5 to play here in the second half. The Yellow Jackets shooting 34.2% from the field. Capital shooting 54.5% from the field. Geisy on the left wing. Dribbles on in. Over to Hanna. Now to Dixon. 10 seconds on the shot clock. AJ's got to go. Now over to Hanna. It's batted out of bounds. It'll still be Capital ball, but the Crusaders will only have 5 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson, meanwhile, will check back into the ballgame for Capital. Kirk Geisy, meantime, will take a seat. So Jackson will inbound it, basically from Capital's bench on the near side. He will get it into Thomas. Thomas catches it off the glass and in! Joe Thomas showing some nice reflexes. A good hookup that time. From Hanna to Thomas. No, Tyrell Jackson to Thomas, excuse me. And now a foul is going to be called. Wow, that was a late call that time. The shot was already up and halfway down the bucket, then the whistle went. So now a three-point opportunity on the way here for Ryan Walsh, the 6'6" senior from Easton, Pennsylvania. Free throw on the way is good. Baldwin Wallace still hanging around, although Capital at the moment has a comfortable 53-41 lead with 13:47 to play in the second half. Dixon, jumper, good. AJ continues to be very efficient offensively. 8 points for the Hilliard-Bradley product. Kuhn, now on the right wing. He's trying to drive, trying to go baseline that time. Somehow gets it to a teammate. Three-pointer on the way, no good, and Hanna grabs the rebound. I still don't know how Kuhn was able to get that pass off to Ryan Walsh in the post. Dixon now over to Hanna, back to Dixon. Now it's swung all the way around to Jackson on the left wing. Jackson gives it back to Dixon. Dixon on the right wing. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson to Hanna. Hanna inside to Green on the left wing. Trying to back his man down. 4 seconds. Bounce pass inside to Thomas. And he was fouled going up to the bucket by Ryan Walsh. The fouls are starting to mount for Baldwin Wallace in this game. That is now the 16th foul on the Yellow Jackets. So now Joe will head to the free throw line. Joe, 6'4" freshman, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, former Centennial product here in Columbus. As he makes his first free throw attempt, and boy, he's only 6'4", but he is so rugged inside. It's amazing to see toughness for such a young player. It's only going to get better from here on out for Capital squads. 57-41 after another made free throw by Thomas. 12:52 remain in the second half. Kuhn on the right wing. Three-pointer now on the way, and Warner knocks it down once again. Again, Baldwin Wallace just continues to hang around a little bit. They're only down by 13. 12.5 to play in the second half. Thomas on the right wing, passes it off to Dixon now. Now on the inside to Green. Green nearly has his pocket picked on the inside to Dixon. And now a hand check foul is going to be called against Michael Peters. 17 foul on Baldwin Wallace. Next foul will put Capital in the 1-and-1. Actually, excuse me. Capital is in the 1-and-1. So now A.J. Dixon will head to the free throw line. Dixon makes the first. Dixon, a 65.2% free throw shooter. Has a chance to make another one for the Cherry Stripe. It is up, and it is good. 10 points for A.J. Dixon. 59-44 lead for Capital. 12:15 to play in the second half. Peters on the right wing. Now we'll get it on over to Brandy. Zach Brandy being guarded by Tyrell Jackson, top of the arc. Brandy dribbling around, driving on in, kick, outside. And now a foul is going to be called on the floor against Capital. This will only be the 14th foul on the Crusaders. Slew of substitutions now for the Crusaders after that foul called. Minch, Schreck, and Geisy check back in. Meanwhile, Jackson, Thomas, and Hanna head to the bench for Capital. 12:01 to play in the second half. Capital continues to shoot at a blistering pace, 57.1% from the field. They've cooled off from beyond the arc, only 33% from downtown. Jumper on the way, off the glass and no good for Warner, and the rebound taken by Capital. Kurt looking to push the envelope here a little bit, but now he'll slow things up once he gets to the perimeter. He'll hand off to Minch. Minch on the left wing, 16 on the shot clock. Minch with a spin move down the lane. Jumper, no good for Minch as it rattles in and out, and the rebound taken by Ryan Walsh. Fed ahead. Thought about a three-pointer. Now on the inside, a score for Michael Peters as he just drove on in there. Seemed like he was wide open that time. Geisy will dribble across half court, and a timeout will be taken by Capital. We'll take a break as well. 11:22 to play in the second half. It is Capital 59, Baldwin Wallace 46. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
Welcome back to the Capital Center. 11:22 to play in the second half. It is Capital 59, Baldwin Wallace 46. I'm Charlie Danis, bringing you the action today from a rather temperate Bexley, Ohio. Temperatures are in the low 50s to be exact. It's just been weird weather here in Columbus as of late. It won't be a winter wonderland tomorrow, but snow is in the forecast as the temperature will drop down to the low 30s. A little bit of snow tomorrow morning, but not that much. In the meantime, Capital shooting 55.6% from the field. Meanwhile, Baldwin Wallace, they continue to struggle shooting the ball, 37.2% from the field. So now Austin Schreck inbounds it from the near side. Capital back with the basketball offensively. Kirk Geisy running the point for the Crusaders. He'll get it over to Minch. Minch over to Dixon. Dixon to Schreck. Schreck on the right wing. Dribbles to his left. Back to Dixon. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dixon trying to size up his man. Step back jumper. No good. Kirk Geisy races in for an offensive rebound, however. Fresh shot clock for Cap. Geisy now on the right wing trying to go baseline. And almost ran out of real estate that time. Ball was kicked. Capital will still have the ball here with 19 seconds on the shot clock. 10:53 remaining in the second half. Capital with a 13-point lead over Baldwin Wallace. Minch trying to go baseline, trying to drive. Almost ran out of real estate that time, but somehow gets the pass off to Geisy. Now it's back to Minch. Minch inside. Jackson scores with the right hand. 61-46, Capital with the lead, coming up on 10.5 to play in regulation. Zach Brandy on the left wing. Now over to Kaminsky. Kaminsky over to Ryan Walsh. Kaminsky Now over to Zach Brandy. Brandy out towards half court. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Brandy over to Hollinger. Hollinger will drive on in, and he was fouled on his way to the bucket. So now Jalen Hollinger, the 6'3" junior from Akron, Ohio, will head to the free throw line. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Hollinger went to Archbishop Hoban High School in the Akron area. That's a high school that recently celebrated a state championship when it came to high school football. As the first free throw is missed. In fact, a couple of future Buckeyes play for that team. Danny Clark is their quarterback, and Todd Sibley is their running back. As the second free throw is converted by Hollinger. Just to finish up that point about Hoban football, both Clark and Sibley are committed to play at Ohio State. They will be seniors next year for Hoban. Geisy on the left wing, meanwhile. Capital is 61-47 lead over Baldwin Wallace. Under 10 to play in regulation. Jackson back outside the Shrek. Now it's over to Minch. Minch trying to drive on in. Inside, Shrek gets the contact. And boy, Shrek kind of took a shot there in the back, but he's one tough customer. So now he'll head to the free throw line. Capital doing a nice job of running the half-court offense, getting some nice passes off on the perimeter, but it always seems like late in the shot clock they're able to find a streaky man, whether it be going down the baseline, going down the lane, setting themselves up for opportunities at the free throw line. Shrek swishes through his first free throw attempt, by the way. So now the second free throw attempt upcoming for Shrek. It's up, and it rattles in and out. So he's only able to split the pair. Despite that missed shot, Capital 18 of 25 from the free throw line. Good for 75%. Battle drives on in, drops it off to Hollinger, but Hollinger has it stolen away by Shrek. Cross half court, Shrek down the lane, off the glass, no good, but it will count. Offensive goaltending is going to be called against Ryan Walsh. So now it's a 64-47 lead for Capital. 9:33 remaining in regulation. Battle gets it to Kaminsky. Kaminsky along the left wing. Battle trying to go baseline. He'll drive on in and score. 64-49. Capital still with a comfortable lead as we approach 9 minutes to play in the second half. Looks like Dixon, Thomas, and Hanna getting set to check back in for Capital. Green over to Dixon, or Jackson, excuse me. Minch drives on in, 15-footer, no good, barely grazed iron, but Shrek is right there for the offensive rebound. Fresh shot clock for Capital. Geisy being guarded by Battle. Now it's to Minch. Minch drives on in, trying to lay it up. Boy, tough angle for Mark. I don't care if you're Michael Jordan. He would have had a tough time trying to convert that bucket as Baldwin Wallace comes away with the rebound. 8.5 to play in the second half. Now it's over to Kaminsky. Kaminsky to Brandy. Brandy thought about a three, gets it inside, drops it off, and the bucket will roll on down for Ryan Walsh. And now a timeout will be taken by Baldwin Wallace. We'll step aside for a moment. 8:20 remaining in regulation. Capital leading Baldwin Wallace 64-51. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome back to the Capital Center. 8:20 remaining in the second half. It is Capital with a 64-51 lead over Baldwin Wallace. Thomas with the ball. Now over to Dixon. AJ will bounce on over to Tyrell. Tyrell will let loose a three. That is no good. And Cameron Kuhn able to tip it to his teammate Zach Brandy for the rebound. Battle Now trying to drive baseline for B-Dub, but he is cut off by Jackson. Three-pointer now on the way. That is no good, and the rebound's taken by Dixon after the missed shot by Kaminsky. Dixon across half court. Shouts out instructions. Thomas to Minch on the left wing. Minch driving on in. Mark out to Dixon. Dixon, long jumper. No good for AJ, and Battle able to get the rebound for B-Dub. Now he's trying to streak on in there, and Dixon's going to be called for a foul. Kind of a bailout call right there as Battle virtually slipped to the floor. But Dixon will be called for the blocking foul. That will now be the 16th foul on Capital this half. Michael Green will now check into the ball game for Capital. 7:23 remaining in regulation. Cam Kuhn will inbound it from the baseline, and let's see, now we got a little stoppage in play here as Battle and Jackson get a little talking to by one of the referees. And now checking back into the ball game is Jake Featheroff. We talked about how Cameron Kuhn has had a quiet day. How about Featheroff? He's only got 4 points and 5 rebounds. This guy is a double-double machine usually for the Yellow Jackets. B-Dub able to get it in, and an offensive foul called against Baldwin Wallace. Moving screen. That should be the 19th foul on Baldwin Wallace, and Capital will be heading to the free throw line. Actually, no, they won't be heading to the free throw line. Wasn't a shooting foul. Although, boy, it's going to be a problem for B-Dub going forward. Next foul puts Capital in the double bonus. Green, meanwhile, with the basketball. They'll go inside the Thomas. Thomas off the glass and in. Joe Thomas has been a spark plug for Capital coming off the bench. So now Thomas to the free throw line. Joe's shot is up and good. Joe Thomas, 13 points on the afternoon. Boy, you always like to have guys that can give you a little spark off the bench. Thomas has done that and more. Kuhn, meanwhile, step back three. That one rattles home. That was the first made three-pointer for Cameron Kuhn, one of the top three-point shooters in the OAC, and it comes with a little under 7 minutes to play in the second half. I don't think Coach Winters could have drawn that up any better. Thomas, meanwhile, trying to drive against this man, had a lot of room down the lane, but kicks it back out to Dixon. Now it's over to Jackson on the right wing. Green nearly had his pocket picked, gets the ball back, hits a streaking Dixon, who was fouled on the play. So now he'll head to the free throw line. Another foul called against Jay Battle. So Dixon will head to the free throw line. In the meantime, a score update up from Baldwin Wallace. At the end of the first quarter, it is Capital 16, Baldwin Wallace 11. So the women doing a nice job so far. Meanwhile, Dixon hits his first free throw attempt. Second free throw now upcoming for A.J. Dixon. Second one is good. 13 points on the afternoon for A.J. Dixon. So now Kuhn across half court. Kuhn driving out to Battle for three. Battle shot no good, and a foul's going to be called against Baldwin Wallace. Cameron Kuhn, to be more specific. He fouled Green, attempting to get the ball on a rebound. So now Green will head to the free throw line. And assuming that Capital can make its free throws the rest of the way here, boy, Capital is in great shape. They're going to be in the double bonus the rest of this second half. So Michael Green at the foul line. First shot, no good. Green on the season, a 72.2% shooter from the foul line. Second shot on the way, no good for Green. He comes up empty-handed at the charity stripe. 6:07 to play in the second half. Capital with a 69-54 lead over Baldwin Wallace. Brandy over to Kuhn. And Dixon was hit with a foul. Dixon was hit with a blocking foul, and boy, you could tell from the reaction from Dixon and the reaction from Coach Winters that they were just not in favor of that call. So now Dixon will be forced to head to the bench. As Dixon's fourth foul on the afternoon, so now he'll be forced to sit here for almost the rest of this game. I'm sure Coach Winters will get him back in there at some point. Second free throw on the way for Kuhn is good. He makes both. Yellow Jackets have trimmed it to a 13-point lead for Capital. Under, 5:59 remaining in the second half. So now Hannah will get into Kirk Geisey. Let's see if Capital can close it out here in the remaining minutes of this game. Geisey, top of the arc, gets it over to Hannah. Nearly stolen away by Kuhn. But Hannah regathers it. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Minch trying to size up his man. Now out to Jackson. Jackson. Long jumper on the way for Tyrell, and it swishes through. Capital 71. Baldwin Wallace 56. 5:25 remaining in the second half. Kuhn gets it into Featheroff. Featheroff driving on in and misses the shot. Thomas with the rebound. And now Geisey will once again slow things up. Cross half court is Kurt. Kurt barking out the instructions. Now bounces it over to Tyrell on the right wing. Tyrell dribbles to his left. Now over to Kurt on the left wing. 10 seconds on the shot clock. To Hannah. Will trying to drive. Can't. Now over to Mark. Minch with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Minch will put up a shot. And he knocks down the three. Mark Minch with a shot at the end of the shot clock. Battle. Now it's swung all the way around. Three-pointer on the way. That one will switch through for Mike Kaminsky, and a timeout will be taken by Baldwin Wallace. 4:34 remaining in regulation. It is Capital 74, Baldwin Wallace 59. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Back here at the Capital Center, 4:34 remaining in regulation. Capital with a 74-59 lead. Speaking of leads, the Capital women's basketball team also in action this afternoon, and right now they hold a 16-11 lead over Baldwin Wallace with 8:46 remaining in the second quarter. The women's team looking to improve to 4-2 within OAC play. Meanwhile, the men's team, they're looking to do the same thing. Capital shooting 54.3% from the field. Baldwin Wallace has done a better job of shooting the ball here in the second half. Their overall field goal percentage has gone up to 40%. But they're still pretty cold from three-point range. 9 of 27 from beyond the arc. Only 33%. So now the Crusaders going into their half-court offense. Geisey over to Minch on the right wing. Minch trying to dribble past his man. Now he'll go down the lane, and Minch is able to get the bucket to go. Mark Minch, 25 points. Another spectacular game for the former Ohio Dominican Panther, now Capital Crusader. Three-pointer on the way for Warner, and Warner knocks it. No, Kaminsky knocks it down, excuse me. These three-point shots as of late have been keeping Baldwin Wallace in the game. But they still trail big against Capital, 76-62, 3:52 to play in the second half. Green trying to bounce it on over. Now a foul, and Green is going to be called for the foul as he was trying to reach in, battling for the ball with Featheroff. That's the 18th foul on Capital. So now Baldwin Wallace shooting some free throws. Featheroff will head to the free throw line on the season. Featheroff is 61.8% from the free throw line. And now a zebra convention, if you will, of our referees near midcourt. And they're having a discussion about something here. Momentary pause in the action. Well, looks like it was much to do about nothing. Nothing changed on the foul or the shot or anything. So Featheroff waiting at the free throw line, and now he'll finally get to shoot some free throws. First free throw on the way is good. Makes the front end of a 1-and-1. So now a second free throw is in the future for Jake Featheroff. 6'7" sophomore from Norwalk, Ohio. Second free throw on the way. No good. Rebound is taken by Jackson. Capital 76. Baldwin Wallace 63. 3:40 to play in regulation. Geisy. Over to Minch. Minch. Jumper. Got the bucket to go and a foul. Mike Kaminsky can only stare in disbelief. So another foul for Baldwin Wallace. And Minch once again will go to the free throw line. Here comes the first free throw from Mr. Minch. It's good. Actually, only needed to make one, as he was completing a three-point play. 28 points for Mark Minch. Meanwhile, Cameron Kuhn, the leading scorer for Baldwin Wallace, is trying to get something going. And a foul is... No, I thought they were going to get Kuhn for an offensive foul that time. He came in with a strong arm bar. But for some odd reason, they call a kick ball against Dixon. Oh, okay. Battle will inbound it to Brandy. Brandy almost loses it, but gets it back to Kaminsky. Now they go inside to Kuhn. Kuhn will not get the bucket to go, but he was fouled, so now he'll head to the free throw line. Kurt Geisy hit with the foul for Capital. 9th team foul for the Crusaders, so now they're one foul away from sending Baldwin Wallace into the double bonus for the rest of this game. Kuhn, an excellent free throw shooter. First shot, good. With that made shot, Kuhn with 12 points. Second free throw, good as well. 13 points for Cameron Kuhn, although he just hasn't had that much success shooting the ball from the field. Only 2 of 9 from the field today. And only 1 of 3 from three-point range. Minch drives on in, not able to get the shooter's roll as the rebound is taken by Kaminsky. Kuhn, meanwhile, gets it out. Kaminsky for 3. That's no good. Brandy gets the offensive rebound. Battle will launch a shot. That's no good. But Brandy gets another offensive rebound, and his hook shot in the lane is good. 2:43 remain in the second half. Capital with a 79-67 lead, although Baldwin Wallace all of a sudden has now cut the lead to 12. Geisy, top of the arc. Now over to Dixon on the right wing. Dixon to Geisy. Kurt, top of the arc. Now to Minch. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Minch, spin move. Lane, not able, got the pass to go to Green, and Green is able to lay it up and in. Boy, there was a lot of dipping and diving and spinning, but somehow Minch got the pass over to Green, and now a driving layup by Jay Battle. 81-69 lead for Capital. 2 minutes to go in regulation. Green near half court. Now pass it over to Dixon. AJ shouting out instructions. He's on the right wing. Now we'll pass it up to Tyrell. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson dribbling. Back out to Geisy for 3. Kurt not able to get the three-pointer to go as it rattles in and out. And the rebound is taken by Baldwin Wallace. Minute and a half to play. Brandy drives in and he gets the bucket to go. And a foul. Jackson, the culprit. So now Brandy will head to the free throw line. He has a chance to cut this to single digits with a minute 31 left to go in regulation. Jackson will check out. Schreck will check back in for Capital. So now Brandy will head to the free throw line. Brandy, a 63.6% free throw shooter from the foul line this season. The left-hander puts it up. It is no good. And the rebound's taken by Dixon. So it stays a 10-point lead for Capital. 1:22 remaining. Baldwin Wallace going with some full court press. And now a timeout is going to be taken by Capital as Geisy was passing it off. Boy, that might have been a break right there for the Crusaders. We'll keep it right here with the Capital Center. 1:18 remaining in regulation. Capital with an 81-71 lead over Baldwin Wallace. A quick check of the score involving the women's teams of these squads. Capital leading Baldwin Wallace in that one 21-16 with 3:29 remaining in the second half. In terms of scores, boy, how about the game by Colleen Fondesi? 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point range, good for 13 points. Colleen leading the way for Capital today, apparently. Other scores around the OAC. And we'll have those for you momentarily here as we're approaching the end of this game. Capital leading Baldwin Wallace 81-71. Heidelberg with an 86-72 lead over Otterbein with 4:19 remaining in the second half. 7:30 remaining in the first half at Wilmington. The Quakers beating Mount Union 26-22. Oh boy, wouldn't that be the upset of the day if the Quakers found a way to win that game. Muskingum leading John Carroll 33-28 with 5:28 remaining in the first half. And finally, Marietta playing host to Ohio Northern. They are tied at 31. They have just gone to halftime at Marietta. Both teams back out on the court. 1:18 remaining in regulation. Capital with a 10-point lead, 81-71 over Baldwin Wallace. They get it into Minch. Minch on the right wing. He'll try to drive inside. Has his shot blocked. Green able to clean it up. Put it back up and in. 12-point lead for Capital. Coming up on a minute to play in regulation. Battle will drive on in. His shot was blocked, it seemed, by Green, but they're going to get Green with a foul. So that will stop the clock with 1:03 remaining. Capital still with a 12-point lead. And from here on out, both teams will be shooting in the double bonus. So now Jay Battle, 6-foot freshman from Gahanna, Ohio, heading to the free throw line. Battle on the day with 12 points. Also 5 rebounds. First free throw on the way for Battle. Good. Jackson and Hannah check back into the ball game for Capital. Meanwhile, coming back in for Baldwin Wallace will be Jake Featheroff. So now Battle, with his second free throw attempt here, has a chance to cut it to 10. Misses it. It's bounced up in the air, almost went back in, and now a foul's called against Baldwin Wallace with a minute to play. Kurt Geisy will be heading to the free throw line for Capital. So Geisy will head to the free throw line. He's a perfect 2 of 2 from the foul line today. Only 4 points for Kurt. Misses the first free throw attempt. Kurt also has 7 rebounds on the day. Coming back into the ballgame for Baldwin Wallace will be Mike Kaminsky, as B-Dub will just try to load up their lineup with as many three-point shooters as possible. They need points, and they need them in a hurry. Geisy misses the second free throw. Rebound taken by Featheroff. Gives it over to Battle. Battle driving the lane, and Battle will score with the left hand. Jackson will get it into Geisy. Geisy being hounded, and he was fouled by Featheroff. Stops the clock with 49.3 seconds to go. Capital with a 9-point lead. Assuming Capital can make their free throws here, they can ice this game away, pick up their 8th overall win of the season, pick up their 4th win in OAC play. So now Geisy, who missed his 2 free throws previously, heads back to the foul line, and he knocks down a shot from the charity stripe. It's back up to a 10-point lead for Capital with 49.3 seconds to go. Geisy, second free throw, good. Timeout taken by Capital. We'll still keep it here at the Cap Center. Meanwhile, let's see here. 55 seconds remaining in the second half. They are approaching halftime at Baldwin Wallace. Capital's women's basketball team leading Baldwin Wallace 24-20. Again, it's Colleen Fondesy with the big game today for the Crusaders. She's got 13 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point range in that one. And coming up after this game, we'll have the Peking Dynasty post-game show. We'll take a look at the stats, get you caught up with action around the OAC, and we'll even have time to chat with head coach Andy Winters, along with a player that he deems the player of the game. So stick around for that as well. 49.3 seconds remaining. Capital 85, Baldwin Wallace 74. Boy, this would be a big win for Capital, assuming that they would hang on for this impending victory. They dropped a close contest to John Carroll on the road on Monday night. They got beaten badly by Denison on Wednesday night, but it'd just be nice to get back into the win column, get that first win of the year 2016, but more importantly, keep pace within the race for the OAC title and stay in the running for a high seed in the OAC tournament. Baldwin Wallace now back with the basketball. They will inbound it to Battle. 46 seconds and counting. Battle across half court. Trying to drive now out to Kuhn on the right wing. Kuhn trying to dribble. He'll dribble down the lane, puts up a wild shot. No good. Minch grabs the rebound, and he is fouled with 35.6 seconds remaining in regulation. So now Mark Minch will have an opportunity to add to his 28 points on the afternoon. What a game it has been for Mark Minch. 10 of 18 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range, 6 of 9 from the foul line. Minch puts it up, and it is good. Minch with his second free throw upcoming. Can he make it 30 points? Yes, he can. 30 points, 7 rebounds for Mark Minch. 87-74 lead for Capital. 30 seconds to go in regulation. Three-pointer on the way. Way off, out of bounds, and it will be Capital basketball. No, actually, hold on a minute here. They're trying to decide if it was tipped by a Capital player. So now play's been halted with 26.4 seconds to go. Conference between Tob Rapenhoff, Lawrence Walden, and Jason Katurba. And the ball will be given to Capital. So Geisy will now inbound it. Minch gets the ball, and he was fouled on the play by Zach Warner. So now Minch will once again go to the free throw line. Even more points potentially for Mark Minch coming up. So Minch has 30 points. Michael Green has 11. Joe Thomas off the bench had 15. And A.J. Dixon has 12. 4 players in double figures today for Capital. First free throw, no good for Minch. Second free throw now upcoming for Minch. Shot is up, and that one's no good as well. Stays a 13-point lead for Capital. 20 seconds remaining. Battle, driving down the lane. He will lay it up and in. And Baldwin Wallace will take a timeout with 17.5 seconds remaining. So they're at halftime at Baldwin Wallace, by the way, for fans of the women's basketball team, and the score stayed at 24-20 in favor of Capital at the half. Again, Colleen Fondesi with 13 points. 4 points for Nina Napolitano, 3 points for Kristen Thompson, 2 points each for Chelsea Plouffe and Simone Gage in that low-scoring affair. While we have a moment, folks, just want to remind you that our next men's basketball broadcast will be this Wednesday. Boy, you think Baldwin Wallace is a good team? Look no further than Marietta. They'll be coming in on Wednesday night. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock tip, which means that we will get the Rusty Bucket pregame show started at 6:30. Marietta, along with John Carroll, tied atop the OAC with a perfect 5-0 mark within OAC play. The killer schedule of the OAC continues for Capital, apparently. But for right now, they're feeling pretty good. They are 17.5 seconds away from putting a capper on a win over the Yellow Jackets. Geisy will inbound for the baseline. He will get it in successfully to Dixon. Dixon will go up the court, and he is being fouled. The foul is going to finally be called on Jay Battle, and Dixon will head to the free throw line. 12.8 seconds remaining in this game. So as Dixon readies for another foul shot here, let's go ahead and get you updated with our upcoming schedule for women's basketball as well. The women's team will be at Marietta next Wednesday after their game today at Baldwin Wallace. Our next women's basketball broadcast will be next Saturday. The women hosting Heidelberg. That game is scheduled for a 3 p.m. tip, which means that we'll get things started with the pregame show at 2:30. Dixon converting the free throws. 88-76 in favor of Capital. 10 seconds remaining. Three-pointer on the way for Warner. That one will rattle home. 9-point lead for Capital. Geisy gets it into Hannah. Hannah is fouled with 5.6 seconds remaining. Give Baldwin Wallace credit. They shot a lot better in the second half. In fact, they were able to get their shooting percentage up to 44.3% as Hannah makes his first free throw. Quite a departure from the first half in which they were shooting under 30%. Hannah's second free throw is good. 90-79 lead for Capital. They'll get it into Battle. Battle will try to lay it up and in one final time. He misses. The buzzer sounds. And a good win for Capital today as they end up defeating Baldwin Wallace 90-79. Coming up, we'll have the Peking Dynasty postgame show. We'll go over the stats, and we'll have a chance to chat with Capital head coach Andy Winters. Again, his squad defeats Baldwin Wallace today by a final of 90-79. This has been a presentation of Capital Men's Basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC. Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, And for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Peking Dynasty postgame show. I'm Charlie Danis. Capital defeating Baldwin Wallace today by a final of 90-79. What a game it was for Capital, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. They got a host of contributors today offensively, including another great game by Mark Minch. Minch with 30 points and 7 rebounds in this game against Baldwin Wallace. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the final stats from this game. First, for Baldwin Wallace, the Yellow Jackets shot 43.5% from the field today, only 34.4% from three-point range, although they shot 50% from downtown in the second half, and they shot 77.8% from the foul line as well. Your leading scorer for Baldwin Wallace is not Cameron Kuhn, it's Jay Battle. Battle had 17 points in this game to go along with 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, 15 points for Mike Kaminsky. Only 13 points for Cameron Kuhn, who came into this game averaging just over 24 points per game, best in the OAC. 11 points for Zach Brandy. 1 point for Jalen Hollinger, 5 points for Jake Featherolf, 4 points for Michael Peters, 6 points for Zach Warner, and 7 points for Ryan Walsh. Meanwhile, for Capital, again, it was Mark Minch who led the way. He had 30 points in this game for Capital, went 10 of 18 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range, 8 of 13 from the foul line, also tallied 7 rebounds on the afternoon. 11 points for Michael Green, 6 points for Austin Schreck, 5 points for Will Hanna, 6 points for Kirk Geisey, 15 points for Joe Thomas, who was a spark plug off the bench for Capital today, going 5 of 7 from the field and 5 of 6 from the free throw line as well. And also 13 points for A.J. Dixon. He too came off the bench, 4 of 7 from the field, 5 of 6 from the foul line, and 4 points for Tyrell Jackson. As a team, Capital shot 54.7% from the field today, only 33.3% from three-point range, 3 of 9 from beyond the arc, and 67.4% from the foul line, 29 of 43 from the charity stripe. Capital held the edge in rebounding today, 38-28 in that particular category. Turnovers, Baldwin Wallace had 10. Capital only had 6 on the entire afternoon, and 12 assists for Capital on the day, 11 for Baldwin Wallace. We'll take another timeout. When we come back, hopefully we'll be joined by Capital head coach Andy Winters. Again, it is Capital defeating Baldwin Wallace today by a final of 90-79.
Jimmy John's world's greatest gourmet sandwiches. Ed speaking.
Yes, I need a sandwich delivery right away.
What kind of sandwich?
I don't care. Just get it to 215 Elm Street right now.
I'm on my way.
Jimmy John's. Thanks for getting here so fast.
You're welcome, sir. Here's your sandwich. By the way, did you know your house is on fire?
That's why I called Jimmy John's.
Fire makes you hungry?
No, I knew you'd get here fast. Grab a bucket.
We're gonna need more than 2 guys, sir.
You're right. What'll we do?
Leave it to me, sir. Hello, boss. Send everyone you got to 215 Elm. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's. Come in. Sir, did you know your house is on fire? Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your house is on fire?
Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket. Fire department. Come in. Sir, did you know your... It's okay, Captain. We got it handled. Care for a sandwich? Thanks, but tell me something. Shoot. Why didn't you call the fire department first? I did.
Brugger's Bagels has been bringing authentic New York-style bagels, breakfast foods, coffee, soups, and more to the world since 1983, and there is a location in Bexley ready to get your day started right. Located on 2510 East Main Street, Brugger's is open Monday through Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturdays and Sundays from 6:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Brugger's also can cater your next event and can be reached by phone at 614-236-4000. Brugger's Bagels is proud to support Capital University Athletics.
Welcome back to the Peking Dynasty post-game show. Capital defeating Baldwin Wallace today by a final of 90-79. I'm Charlie Danis, and joining me now the head coach of the Capital men's basketball program, Andy Winters. Well, Coach, how about this? After a tough start to the week, losses to John Carroll and Denison, your team comes back here with an important league win. It has to feel nice to get into the win column for the first time in 2016.
Yeah, we had a close game at John Carroll, which we were off about 2 weeks before, and our guys played well, and we played hard, and we couldn't pull out on top. And then at Denison, they came out and outplayed us. So it was good to regroup and have 2 good practices leading into BW and come up on top this time.
I want to talk about Mark Minch. This guy has been a spark plug for you offensively, and he does more of the same for you, 30 points and 7 rebounds. Talk about Mark's performance today.
Mark's one of those guys as a coach that makes you look good because he can make plays on his own. And we run series for him, and he has all different calls for him. But, late clock, when you need somebody to score, Mark's very good at getting his and helping us get points when we need it. So can't talk enough about him offensively. We've got to work on some things defensively with him. That'll help us out as a team, but very proud of Mark and everybody's effort.
The bench came through today as well, Coach. I found it interesting that you had A.J. Dixon come off the bench. He had 13 points. And how about Joe Thomas, 15 points off the bench? He was very efficient from the field today.
Yeah, Joe really, really plays hard. And the thing about Joe is whether he's playing 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he's going to give it his full every time. So very happy with Joe. I mean, he was the leading scorer in the city last year. In the Columbus City League. So we know he can score, and we know he can do some things around the hoop when he catches the ball. So Joe's been very great for us, and we're happy to have him.
Cameron Kuhn came into this game averaging 24 points per game, the leading scorer in the OAC. You hold him to 13 points. He didn't make a 3 until just under 7 minutes to play in the second half. Could you have scripted that any better defensively?
Cameron's such a good player, and watching on film, it can't just be one guy. We started Curtis on him, and A.J. Dixon guarded him. We have to do a good job as a team, to be in our help side, that when, Cameron may get by Curtis or A.J., we have to be there to help. So very happy with our team's effort in stopping him and focusing in on him and getting the win.
And your team also did a nice job taking care of the basketball coach. Only 6 turnovers. That has to make you happy.
Yeah, I mean, coming off a double-digit turnover game last game, that's something we really focused on, especially at our point guard position with Joey Weingartner, Curtis, and AJ. They just really got to focus on taking care of the ball since the ball's in their hands most of the game. So it's nice to see 6 turnovers and 12 assists at the end of a game.
Real quick, Coach, you got Marietta coming up next Wednesday. Another tough challenge in the OAC.
Marietta will be another good team, and like we usually talk about, it's you got to win on your home court, and I'm happy with our effort. I think the biggest thing is our 2 practices leading into Marietta. We have to be ready to go because they are a good team.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, congratulations on the win against Baldwin Wallace.
Thank you.
That was head coach Andy Winter. Join us here on the Peking Dynasty postgame show. Our postgame coach interview brought to you by Jimmy John's, Freaky Fast Delivery and world-class catering as well. And it looks like we'll also be joined by a player here. Hey, look at this. Kurt Geisey joins us in the broadcast booth today. So, Kurt, I just talked about this with Coach. You had a tough start to this week, a close loss to John Carroll, a game in which you led but ultimately just couldn't pull out in the end. And then you get beat by Denison on Wednesday night. Before we get into the specifics of this game, how good does it feel to get back into the win column, to have that first win here in 2016?
It's a great feeling, especially with the start of the second semester. We kind of start fresh, and John Carroll was a tough loss, and Denison, we were disappointed with our effort, and we came back. We had 2 real hard days of practice. Coach worked us really hard. We focused on defense, and we really concentrated on the little things and trying to get back to the fundamentals and basics, and it showed tonight. We played well, and we ended up getting the win, and our defense was a big part of that.
There was a lineup change made involving you and A.J. Dixon. Instead of A.J. being in the starting 5, it was you out there, A.J. coming off the bench, and it seemed to work today.
It did. It was just a little mix-up we had, and defensively we really got it going after that. And AJ's a good defender. He came in off the bench and provided his great usual play, and I was just lucky to come in and start and provide a little spark for us in the beginning defensively and offensively and kind of get us going. And then AJ just picked up and kept it going.
And it also helps, too, that you had a guy by the name of Mark Minch out there on the floor today. This guy just continues to amaze me. 30 points today against Baldwin Wallace. I mean, does it even come as a surprise to you anymore, the way the things that he does on the basketball court?
Well, we see it every day in practice. We have to guard it every day in practice. So when he does it in a game, it's not a huge surprise for us. Tonight he did it in volumes. He did it more than once, which was very nice for us offensively. And we need to make sure when he gets it going to give him the ball, and then also we need to make sure we're cutting off of him. We're not just watching him play and do his stuff. But he's a great player, and he's doing a great job for us. We're
talking with Kurt Geisey here on the Peking Dynasty postgame show. Capital defeating Baldwin Wallace 90-79. For most of this game, you had to guard Cameron Kuhn. This guy is averaging a little over 24 points per game. You hold him to 13 points. This guy didn't make a three until a little under 7 minutes to play in the second half. What allowed you to have success defensively today?
Energy and team defense. We did a good job of everybody being in the right spot and helping out on the drives. And when he had the ball in his hands, we had 4 guys plus the guy guarding him that was all concentrated on him. And when he would drive the ball, we'd have help. When he would come off a screen, we'd have help. And it was really a whole team effort. You know, you can say the guy guarding him did a good job, but the whole team helped as a whole and really took away his driving lanes, gave him less opportunities, made him work for everything he had.
So you get the win here today against Baldwin Wallace. You get another tough contest coming up Wednesday against Marietta, one of the teams that undefeated within OAC play. Talk with me briefly about the Pioneers and the challenge that lies ahead.
Well, Marietta's a tough team. They've been tough for all 3 of my years. They've been in the top 2, top 3 in our conference every year, and we know this year's going to be no different. They're going to come out. They're going to be ready to play, and we gotta match their intensity, and we gotta pick up after this game. We gotta pick up where we left off defensively and really get in them, force some turnovers, get us some easy buckets early, and then kind of just keep it going throughout the game.
All right, Kurt. Thanks so much for joining us. Go enjoy this win.
Thank you.
That was Kurt Geisey joining us here on the Peking Dynasty postgame show. We'll be back to wrap things up here from the Cap Center. Again, it is Capital defeating Baldwin Wallace today 90-79.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
We're back here at the Capital Center as we conclude the Peking Dynasty postgame show. Capital defeating Baldwin Wallace today by a final of 90-79. It's now time to name tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Donato's Pizza. Well, there's no question who gets that top honor tonight. Mark Minch with another great game for Capital. 30 points on the evening to go along with 7 rebounds, shot 10 of 18 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range, and 8 of 13 from the foul line. Mark Minch, tonight's player of the game. One last look at scores around the OAC. They have just started the second half up at Baldwin Wallace. And Capital's women's basketball team leading B-Dub 29-20 in that game with, 6:54 remaining in the third quarter. Meanwhile, other scores around men's basketball here in the OAC. About a minute to play in the second half. Heidelberg on its way to a victory over Otterbein. They lead the Cardinals 96-83 in that one. 1:40 remaining in the first half. Wilmington leading Mount Union 47-34. That would be quite the upset if the Quakers found a way to defeat the Purple Raiders today. Muskingum with a 1-point lead over John Carroll. They lead John Carroll 40-39 at halftime. And Marietta and Ohio Northern are tied at 31 at the half as well. And one more score for you, 13:46 remaining in the second half. Ohio Northern trailing Marietta 45-41. Our next men's basketball broadcast, as we have talked about here recently, will be Wednesday. The men will take on Marietta, a team that is usually at or near the top of the OAC in men's basketball. So that game will begin at 7 p.m. Our pregame show will start at 6:30. Thanks so much for joining us for this presentation of men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. This is Charlie Dana saying one final time. The final score from the Capital Center, Capital defeats Baldwin Wallace 90-79. We'll see you on Wednesday night when the men's team takes on Marietta. See you, everyone.